Hello there, this is David from David Books and Comics, and today I want to showcase the paperbacks featuring Dick Tracy, character created way back in the 1930s in the days of the early hard-boiled pulp detective, pioneered way back in the pages of the pulp magazine called Black Mask, where a writer like Carol John Daly created Race Williams, and the other character he created was a guy named Satan Hall. And then the Black Mask writers started writing more hard-boiled detective fiction, and they included people like Dashiell Hammett and, of course, Raymond Chandler. Anyway, in the 1930s, that genre of hard-boiled crime fiction was popularized again in the pages of the newspaper strips, with characters like Dick Tracy and Raymond Chandler, or Alex Raymond, I should say, did his famous Secret Agent X9, similar to that hard-boiled, with the help, of course, of Dashiell Hammett, similar to that hard-boiled detective fiction that was prevalent back in the 1930s, very much of its time, but that um, realist type of detective fiction uh, is still written about today. But anyway, this is the focus. So Dick Tracy, this is volume 1, and I'm doing this video as a request from one of my subscribers who wanted to again for me to showcase these paperbacks, but also show 2 of the Whitman books that I have that also are actually well-written, hard-boiled crime fiction by Chester Gould, with some of the artwork also by Chester Gould. We'll look through those. So this is Dick Tracy. This is volume 1, and you see Pruneface, and it's a great story, fast-paced read, and so it talks about the origin of Pruneface. Sorry, the origin of Dick Tracy, and then this shows how Pruneface became a villain, and it's a great fast-paced story, and maybe an hour or so of reading, but very entertaining, done in the hard-boiled style for the comics pages. So this is it's a first from 1975, and copyrights 1942-43. So this is number 1, Pruneface. And this is number 2. This is Snowflake and Shaky. And this one is also a first from December 1975. Fawcett Publications, and the copyright of the newspaper strips from 1940, 1944, 1945. Great fast-paced readings. And of course, if you've read any of the Dick Tracy newspaper strips, you'll know that his villains come to a very gruesome end. Anyway, so that's Snowflake and Shaky. And then it has the story of the Black Pearl. And this is the very first one that I ever bought and read. Really enjoyed it. And it has also a kind of a horrific ending, as Mrs. Pruneface meets her gruesome end. This is from 1976. It's a paperback first. All right, it's great reading. Great reading. If you'll enjoy hard-boiled detective fiction, quick, easy read, you'll enjoy this. All right, so this is volume 3, Mrs. Pruneface. So those are the Fawcett books. Now, I'll show you 2 of the children's Whitman books. And this is Dick Tracy Meets the Nightcrawler. This is with its original dust jacket. And you can tell it's a little tattered. Chester Gould, of course, wrote it. And Chicago Tribune is the copyright, and it has the illustrations. You can see it's profusely illustrated, all numbered. So let's say page 10. There's Dick Tracy fishing. 16, and you can tell that's very much the Chester Gould style artwork. And let's see, it's just by doing a flip through. Yeah. And yeah. And as you can expect, the villain will meet a gruesome end. So this is Dick Tracy meets the Nightcrawler, and it's an original dust jacket, and it's due for a change. This one I bought, and you'd be surprised I found in a thrift store. And this is the other one. This is Dick Tracy. It's the first one, actually. Ace Detective. And again, it features Chester Gould artwork. And of course, the main villain of the piece meets a very gruesome end. All right, so that's that one. These are the two books that I didn't show in the previous episode. So Dick Tracy meets the Nightcrawler and Dick Tracy Ace Detective, copyright. And let's see, this is from 1943. All right. So those are those two. And I'll show you one more of the Whitman books, and the only reason I'm going to show this is because it's done by, this is Invisible Scarlett O'Neil. She's a super heroine. That is also, this is Whitman book 2382. The reason I'm showing this is because this artist, this is Russ Stamm. And Russ Stamm also assisted Chester Gould in the Dick Tracy strip. But he also featured his own character, Scarlett O'Neil, in a regular adventure strip in the comic pages of the newspapers. All right. So let's see if the copyright is Chicago Tribune. Let's see. Oh, copyright is Russ Stamm, licensed by Famous Artists Syndicate, Chicago. And oh yeah, so copyright 1941-42 by the Chicago Times Incorporated. Okay. And this is copyright Russell Stamm, 1943. All right, so that's that. Like I said, the reason I'm showing this is because he assisted Chester Gould on the Dick Tracy strip. All right, so these are quite fun reads. They're written in the Dick Tracy hardboiled style, so whoever decides to read them won't be disappointed. They're not that difficult to find, and they're not that expensive, but they're nice to have. Nice books. Some people like me to look inside, so that's what it looks like. All right. And the Nightcrawler. So it looked like that at the back. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this little look at the Dick Tracy paperback collection and the Dick Tracy Whitman books. And just remember to give me that like. Thanks everyone for subscribing. Comments are always nice to have, and it always adds to the information that my viewers can always look up online. If I miss something, it'll be there in the comments. Okay. All right. Thanks so much. Okay. Bye.